Encanto is a 2021 American animated musical fantasy comedy film produced by Walt Disney Animation Studios. It was directed by Jared Bush and Byron Howard and written by Charisse Castro-Smith and Bush, with original songs written by Lin-Manuel Miranda and a score composed by Germaine Franco. The film stars the voices of Stephanie Beatriz, Maria Cecilia Botero, John Leguizamo, Mauro Castillo ES, Jessica Darrow, Angie Cepeda, Carolina Gaitan, Diane Guerrero, and Wilmer Valderrama. Encanto follows a multi-generational Colombian family, the Madrigals, led by a matriarch whose children and grandchildren except for Mirabel Madrigal receive magical gifts from a miracle, which they use to help the people in their rural community, called the Encanto. When Mirabel learns that the family is losing their magic, she sets out to find out why and save the family and house. Encanto premiered at the El Capitan Theater in Hollywood, Los Angeles, on November 3, 2021, and was released in the United States on November 24 over a 30-day theatrical run. It was also released in RealD 3D, Dolby Cinema, 2D, and D-Box formats. Despite underperformance at the box office, grossing $261.3 million worldwide against a $120 to $150 million budget, it was a ratings success after its release on Disney Plus on December 24, 2021. The film received acclaim for its characterization, music, animation, voice acting, emotional depth, and cultural fidelity. Reviews named magic realism and transgenerational trauma as the film's core concepts. Publications have described Encanto as a cultural phenomenon, and executives had begun referring to it as a franchise within a year of release. The film was nominated for 3 awards at the 94th Academy Awards, winning Best Animated Feature, and received numerous other accolades, including the Golden Globe Award for Best Animated Feature and the BAFTA Award for Best Animated Film. The film's associated merchandise has seen significant success, and its soundtrack became a breakout sensation, reaching number 1 on the US Billboard 200 and UK compilation albums charts. We Don't Talk About Bruno and Surface Pressure were its 2 most successful songs, with the former topping both the US Billboard Hot 100 and UK singles chart for multiple consecutive weeks. A theme park attraction based on the film is set to open at Disney's Animal Kingdom in 2027. 7. Plot. An armed conflict forces young couple Alma and Pedro Madrigal to flee their home village in Colombia with their infant triplets, Julieta, Pipa, and Bruno. Pedro is killed, but the candle Alma carries gains a magical power that repels the attackers and creates Casita, a sentient house located in a magical realm bordered by mountains. 50 years later, a new village thrives under the candle's protection, which grants gifts and corresponding bedrooms to each Madrigal descendant when they turn 5, which they use to serve the villagers. Julieta's youngest daughter, Mirabel, is the only Madrigal to not be granted with a gift, while Bruno was vilified and scapegoated for his precognition, which resulted in him disappearing. 10 years later, Pipa's youngest son, Antonio, is granted the ability to communicate with animals. During the celebration, Mirabel sees Casita cracking and the candle's flame flickering and goes downstairs to investigate. She alerts her family, but Casita repairs itself before the rest of the family can see the cracks. After overhearing Alma lament the candles fading that night, Mirabel resolves to restore Casita's magic herself. Her older sister Luisa, who possesses superhuman strength, confesses to Mirabel that she feels overwhelmed with her constant obligation to help the villagers by using her strength, which has begun to start faltering. She suggests to Mirabel that Bruno's room, located inside a forbidden tower in Casita, may hold the secret to the fading magic. Mirabel finds a cave in Bruno's room that holds pieces of his last vision made of opaque emerald. Most of the family warns Mirabel not to investigate further, but she reassembles the pieces into the form of a tablet and sees herself with Casita cracking behind her. Mirabel's father Augustin accidentally discovers her and warns her to keep the vision a secret, but they are overheard by Pipa's daughter Dolores, who possesses supernatural hearing. Mirabel's oldest sister Isabella, who can make plants instantly grow at will, is scheduled to be engaged to the Madrigal's neighbor Mariano Guzman. Amidst Mariano's proposal during an awkward dinner, Dolores tells everyone about Mirabel's discovery. Casita begins to crack again, and everyone starts losing control of their gifts. Mirabel follows rats carrying the pieces of the vision to a secret passage behind a portrait, where she finds Bruno, who reveals he never left Casita. His visions alternate between Mirabel saving Casita and destroying it, leading him to believe she is the key to the fate of Casita's magic. Not wanting Mirabel to be hurt, he destroyed the vision and isolated himself. At Mirabel's insistence, Bruno conjures another vision that depicts Mirabel and Isabella hugging after seemingly repairing their strained relationship, which strengthens the candle. Mirabel attempts to apologize to Isabella, who confesses she is burdened by her image of perfection and does not want to marry Mariano. Mirabel helps Isabella use her powers more freely and they hug. When a furious Alma arrives, she accuses Mirabel of causing the family's misfortunes out of spite for not having a gift. In response, Mirabel denounces Alma's behavior and asserts that her harmful expectations for her family are the true cause of Casita dying. In the ensuing argument, Casita is demolished as the candle extinguishes, leaving the madrigals powerless, and a distraught Mirabel runs away. Alma finds Mirabel tearfully sitting beside the river where Pedro was killed and the miracle had begun. Alma realizes that her obsession with preserving the magic made her oblivious to how her expectations and pressure were harming the family. She expresses remorse, reconciles with Mirabel, and reunites with Bruno. The three return to the village and assemble the other madrigals to rebuild Casita, and the townspeople join in, restoring the family's gifts and reviving Casita. The madrigals celebrate and take a family photo. Voice cast: Antonio Madrigal redirects here. For the Spanish footballer, see Tony Madrigal. Stephanie Beatriz speaking at the 2018 San Diego Comic-Con International, for the Lego Movie 2, the second part, at the San Diego Convention Center in San Diego, California. Stephanie Beatriz voices Mirabel Madrigal. Stephanie Beatriz as Mirabel Madrigal, the 15-year-old 8-9 protagonist, Alma's granddaughter, Bruno, Felix, and Pepa's niece, Luisa and Isabella's sister, Julieta, and Augustine's daughter, and Camilo, Antonio, and Dolores' cousin who, unlike her family, does not have a special gift. Director and co-writer Jared Bush described her as imperfect and weird and quirky, but also deeply emotional and incredibly empathetic. 10. Noemi Josefina Flores voices a 5-year-old Mirabel. 9. Maria Cecilia Botero as Abuela Alma Madrigal, Mirabel's 75-year-old grandmother and the family matriarch. 10. In the film, her full name is not given and she is simply called Abuela, which is grandmother in Spanish. 9. Olga Mirdiz provides Abuela's singing voice. 11. Botero reprises her role in the Spanish dub of the film 1213 while Yanith Waldman provides her singing voice in that version. John Leguizamo as Bruno Madrigal, Mirabel's 50-year-old ostracized uncle who has the ability to see and create visions of the future. 14. Bruno also has two other personalities, Hernando and Jorge. Mauro Castillo as Felix Madrigal, Mirabel's uncle and Pepa's husband. Bush stated that Felix is just there to have a good time. 10. Castillo reprises his role in the Spanish dub of the film. 1213. Jessica Darrow as Luisa Madrigal, Mirabel's older sister, who is 19, has superhuman strength and is the tallest of the family. 15. Co-writer and co-director Cherise Castro Smith described Luisa as someone who carries all the burdens and never complains. 10. Angie Cepeda as Julieta Madrigal, Mirabel's 50-year-old mother and Augustine's wife who can heal people with her cooking. 10. Cepeda reprises her role in the Spanish and Italian dubs of the film. 12-13-16. Carolina Gaitan as Pepa Madrigal, Mirabel's 50-year-old aunt and Felix's wife whose mood controls the weather. She often creates rain and storms due to her strong emotions. 10. Gaitan reprises her role in the Spanish dub of the film. 12-13. Diane Guerrero as Isabella Madrigal, Mirabel's oldest sister, who is 21 and can make flowers and other plants bloom anywhere. 15. Director Byron Howard described her as perfect and a success. 10. Wilmer Valderrama as Augustin Madrigal, Mirabel's father and Julietta's husband, who Bush described as accident-prone, as seen when he had different accidents revolving around him getting attacked by bees. 8-10. Renzi Feliz as Camilo Madrigal, Pipa and Felix's 15-year-old son. 8 Dolores and Antonio's brother, and Mirabel's cousin who can shape-shift. Castro Smith stated that Camilo is someone who doesn't quite know who they are yet. 10. Ravi Cabot Conyers as Antonio Madrigal. 8 Pipa and Felix's 5-year-old son, Dolores, and Camilo's brother, and Mirabel's cousin who gained the ability to talk to and understand the animals. He looks up to Mirabel and considers her a big sister. 10. Odessa as Dolores Madrigal, Pipa and Felix's 21-year-old daughter, Camilo, and Antonio's sister, and Mirabel's cousin who has superhuman hearing. 10-15. Maluma as Mariano Guzman, Isabella's fiancé. 17-18. Maluma reprises his role in the Spanish dub of the film. 12. Additionally, Rose Portillo voices Senora Guzman, Mariano's mother, and the Madrigal family's neighbor, Elisabella Candiani, Noemi Josefina Flores, Paisley Herrera, Brooklyn Skylar Rodriguez, and Ezra Rugel voice the town kids. Juan Castano voices Osvaldo, a donkey delivery man who Bruno predicted would grow a gut, which came true. Sarah Nicole Robles voices Senora Ozma, a townsperson who once asked Luisa to reroute the river. Hector Elias voices Old Arturo, a townsperson who asks Alma about their fellow townspeople becoming anxious about the fading magic. Alan Tudyk provides the vocal effects of Pico, a toucan who Bush described as clueless. 19. And animator Jorge Ruiz Quino voices the tipple maestro, an unseen tipple player. Production. Development. Lin-Manuel Miranda speaking at the 2019 San Diego Comic-Con International, for his Dark Materials, at the San Diego Convention Center in San Diego, California. Lin-Manuel Miranda in 2019. During a November 2016 publicity tour for Moana, Miranda revealed that early stage work had begun on an animated project that John Lasseter, then the chief creative officer of Disney Animation, had presented to him and Howard. 20. Howard and Bush subsequently revealed that after finishing Zootopia, 2016, they knew they wanted their next project to be a musical. 21. Which turned into a Latin American musical after Miranda came on board. 22-23. Howard and Bush had already worked on buddy films where two characters go out into the world and learn about each other, and wanted to try something completely different. 23. The three men discussed their common experience of having large extended families, and decided to make a musical film about a large extended family with a dozen main characters. 23-24. During the 5 years it took to develop the film, Howard and Bush's true north was the theme of perspective, about how you see the other people in your family and how you're seen. 23. They began by brainstorming ideas on a whiteboard. 25. Early on, they made 3 important discoveries about families which became the basis of the film's story. 1. Most of us don't feel truly seen by our families. 2. Most of us carry burdens we never let our families see. And 3. Most of us are oblivious that nearly all of us, especially within our own families, feel the exact same way. 26. 8. In turn, it was Miranda who suggested that the vibrant, broad spectrum of Latin American music could best capture the complexity of family relationships. 26. 8. Early in development, the production team spoke with many therapists and psychologists. All were asked who would be treated best by the parents in a 4-person family. Every answer differed. Bush concluded, "It's about how you perceive yourself in the family." 27. The crew also consulted family members and Disney Animation people. 28. Howard and Bush started to discuss Latin American culture at length with Juan Rendon and Natalie Ozma, who had previously worked with them on the making of documentary Imagining Zootopia. 21-23. Rendon and Ozma both happened to be from Colombia and repeatedly drew upon their personal experiences with Colombian culture in their discussions, which caused Howard, Bush, and Miranda to focus their research on that country. 21 Rendon and Ozma became the first two of several cultural experts hired by Disney Animation as consultants on the film 21 who collectively formed what Disney called the Colombian Cultural Trust. 23-29. In 2018, Rendon and Ozma accompanied Howard, Bush, and Miranda on a research trip to Colombia. 21 During their 2 weeks in the country. 23 They met with architects, chefs, and artisans to immerse themselves in the country's culture. 29 They also visited the Gabriel Garcia Marquez Foundation. 29 They visited big cities like Bogotá and Cartagena, but they found inspiration in small towns such as Salantuc, Terrain, and Barichara, architecture. 29 Bush noticed that every town we went to had a very specific personality, because of how the country's mountainous terrain divides and isolates them. 23. According to Disney fan club publication Disney 23, this isolation became the key to placing the Madrigal's residents in a remote Encanto, that is, a place that's charmed, or spiritually blessed, a domain where magic and reality merge. 23 As Colombian tourist guide Alejandra Espinosa Uribe explained, Colombians are surrounded by sacred lands that feel magical, and we coexist with them, not questioning their existence. 26-30. In Barichara, they befriended Espinosa Uribe, who showed them around the town, and later hired her to consult on the film's historical and cultural authenticity. 30 Uribe was an inspiration for several aspects of the film's protagonist Mirabel, including her curly black hair, large eyeglasses, and gestures. 30 The design of Mirabel's skirt was inspired by traditional skirts woven in the Valles area. 30. The final version of the film is deliberately vague as to the time frame in which it is set, but drew inspiration from early 20th century Colombia. 30 After exploring the 1950s, the directors decided to shift the look of the film to the early 1900s and to use a folkloric Colombian aesthetic. 26-22 At the beginning of the 20th century, the country endured the Thousand Days War, which resulted in the populations of entire villages fleeing to save themselves as depicted in the film. 30. Writing. As the film steadily became more complex, with an entire family to develop, multiple songs, and a rich cultural setting with a deep tradition of magical realism, Howard and Bush realized they needed a second screenwriter to help write the screenplay. 23 They selected Cherise Castro-Smith for her strong background in magical realism and experience with handling real-world family dynamics. 23 Bush described her as a godsend, as she provided a foundation of heart, vulnerability, and authenticity. Castro-Smith sought to create a distinct, imperfect, and completely human character in Mirabel, one that spoke to the lives of many Latinos while also being relatable to viewers globally. 31. From working on Moana, Miranda knew that film's protagonist, Moana, originally had 8 brothers before they were removed to streamline the film's plot. 24 As Miranda had expected from that experience, Disney Animation initially resisted moving forward with a dozen main characters for Encanto. 24 Miranda deliberately wrote the film's opening number, The Family Madrigal, to prove to Disney Animation that it was possible to efficiently introduce such a large family and its internal dynamics to the audience. 24 Because of the film's 90-minute runtime, the filmmakers struggled to make the center family feel genuine, fleshed out, and human, and to give them arcs. 28. The crew worked hard to develop Encanto upon instantly identifiable family archetypes. The team focused on pushing past the archetypes and showing that family members are more complicated than the masks imposed on them. 21 Each member of the Madrigal family is inspired by a common family archetype if it were exaggerated and made magical. For example, Isabella and Luisa are based on that of the Golden Child and Rock, respectively. 32 Bush explained that this method prevented each gift from feeling arbitrary, instead being prescribed by emotions and personality. 26. Like most Disney animation films, Encanto went through many different versions in its development, as various story ideas were explored and discarded. 26. 17. The ideas discarded along the way include: a young modern-day woman is transported by a magical doorknob to another world. 26. 17. Augustine was the family patriarch who discovered Encanto and personally built Casita there. 26. 17. Setting the film expressly in the 1950s, featuring cosmopolitan and modern fashions. 26. 22. As well as motor vehicles and a trip to the big city where Alma had originally come from. 26. 146. Casita was an extension of only Alma's personality, rather than the entire family. 26. 41. Following the story of multiple generations and Casita over a 100-year time span. 26. 49. Mirabelle was desperately trying to find her magical gift, rather than merely expressing frustration with not being granted one. 26. 71. The colors of Mirabelle's world as seen from her perspective would have reflected her emotional state as she narrated the first two acts, and then changed over to more realistic colors when the film shifted to Alma's point of view in the third act. 26. 76. Luisa's room would have been made out of stone and appeared boring to reflect her sense of responsibility, but would have concealed a secret exit to a hidden room similar to a theme park where she could have fun. 26. 94. Isabella at one point had a dorky suitor named Bubo who came from the big city. 26. 153. After the film's release, Bush revealed via Twitter several more ideas which had been discussed and set aside. Alma gave birth to the triplets at the river. At the moment of Pedro's death, Isabella and Mirabelle's mutual hostility culminated in a fist fight, and Mirabelle celebrated her quinceañera. 25. According to Howard, as the plot evolved over several years, the core of the whole film was always the relationship between Mirabelle and Alma. 23. 26. 116. Casting. Disney cast several actors with Colombian heritage, including Stephanie Beatriz, whose father is Colombian, John Leguizamo, who was born in Bogotá, and Wilmer Valderrama, who spent his childhood in Colombia, where his mother is from. 33. Though no obvious roles which he could voice existed, due to the Madrigal's Colombian nationality and Mirabelle's lack of an animal sidekick, Alan Tudyk, considered Disney's good luck charm, makes a cameo as Pico, a toucan. 34-35. When he first came into the recording studio, Tudyk informed the crew that their scratch vocals for Pico were not actually those of toucans, but instead were parrots. He spent many hours doing imitations of various toucans. The team would speak to him in English, and Tudyk would respond using toucan noises. 36. Design. Encanto was the hardest film to date for heads of animation Renato dos Anjos and Chiroletto Macchi because they were asked to fully develop a dozen characters, as opposed to other animated films which primarily feature 2 or 3 characters out of a large cast. 37. Accordingly, the characters required a degree of complexity that Disney Animation had previously never achieved. 38. Journalist Edna Liliana Valencia Murillo was the Afro-Caribbean consultant and contributed greatly towards Felix, Dolores, and Antonio's designs. 39. According to Howard, certain characters' Afro-Latin hairstyles were essential. 40. Disney veterans Ian Gooding and Lorelei Bove were hired as production designers for the film. Lorelei and her sister, costume design lead Nasa Bove, hoped to represent the film's various communities well. NASA requested Colombian consultants, which included an anthropologist and botanist. 39. Instead of fabrics similar to neoprene that are often depicted in films, the characters' costumes are generally loose. The clothes are meant to appear as though they are from Colombia. The designers emphasized embroidery, texture, and movement. Each costume except Isabella's is asymmetric, with a handmade feeling. 39. In Encanto, personalities and family ties are represented through color. For example, Pepa and Felix's side of the family wear warm tones of orange, yellow, and red in homage to his Caribbean ancestry. 26. 29. By contrast, Julieta and Augustine's side wear cool tones of blues, purples, and greens. Alma sits in the middle, with darker hues, such as purple, black, and brown. 26, 29 Each madrigal has a symbol on their clothing that denotes their gift, such as barbells on Luisa's skirt and Pepa's sun earrings. Due to her lack of a gift, Mirabel has symbols of the other family members' gifts embroidered across her skirt. 41 In addition to her face and name. 42. The residents of the Encanto dress in neutral tones, thus, the main family are distinguished by their vivid colors. 26, 29 They needed to be distinctive while not standing out, which visual development artist Jin Kim said occasionally made them harder to design than the main cast. 26, 148 Disney used simple silhouettes for the villagers' clothes to make them seem and feel similar to typical residents from the Colombian coffee region. They incorporated depictions of the sombrero volteado from the Zanu indigenous community and the sombrero aguadano from the Aguadas community. 26, 149. Animation. Quindio, Cocara Valley, and Barichara in Santander were some of the places that the Encanto production team visited in Colombia to develop the film. The animators were challenged by the directors to make Mirabel distinctively different from all prior Disney heroines. She had to be both capable and imperfect, but not merely just clumsy. 37 The casita was inspired not only by traditional Colombian homes but films in which houses come alive, especially Beetlejuice, 1988. 37. The production team learned in their research that music, dance, and rhythm are core elements of everyday life in Colombia. 43 As a result, Encanto was the first Disney animation film to have choreographers involved in the development process from start to finish, meaning they worked closely with the production team to develop songs, characters, and story. 37-43. This is in contrast to older films where the story was already in place by the time a choreographer was hired to consult on specific scenes. 43 For Encanto, Disney Animation initially hired African-American choreographer Jamal Sims, who insisted on immediately hiring Colombian-American dancer Kai Martinez as the film's animation reference consultant. 37-43 They worked together with a team of dancers to prepare choreography reference footage for each scene, and then gave feedback to the animators on scenes as they were animated. 37-43 They developed different dance styles for different characters. Luisa's style is reggaeton, while Mirabel's style is Cali salsa. 43. For selection and animation of the plants and flowers that Isabella could make grow, the production team consulted with Colombian botanist Felipe Zapata. His advice allowed appropriate plants to be selected and then shown in accurate detail. The river of jacarandas and strangler figs and the cascade of sundew that Isabella produces are all based on this input. Plants in the background scenery are also realistic. These included the iconic, but now vulnerable wax palm and dramatic cecropia trees. Economically important plants, like coffee, also appear. 44. Over 800 people, 108 of them animators, were involved in the production of Encanto. 45 Disney Animation was planning to send many of its animators to Colombia starting on March 15, 2020, in preparation for the film's transition from development to production. This second research trip had to be cancelled after the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. The studio's animators ended up having to work remotely with the Colombian Cultural Trust. For example, Espinosa Uribe gave the animators a virtual tour of Colombia with the help of her cell phone. 30 Diane Guerrero sent the studio's designers photographs of Colombian food taken by her relatives in Colombia. 25. On June 22, 2020, Miranda confirmed on Good Morning America that he and Bush were working on an animated Disney film set in Colombia, with Bush and Byron Howard directing, and Charisse Castro Smith co-directing. 46. On June 18, 2020, the tentative title was revealed to be Encanto. The project was also confirmed to be the film Miranda was involved in, and it was reported to be about a girl in a magical family. On December 10, 2020, the project was officially confirmed at a Disney Investor Day meeting, where a clip was shown, A fall 2021 release was announced, and magical realism was referenced. 47 According to Bush, development of the film's script wrapped in August 2021, and production on the film wrapped a month later. 25 Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, many crew members worked together remotely for over a year and did not meet each other in person until Disney put on a socially distanced outdoor screening of the final version of the film. 45. Cinematography. Encanto is the first Walt Disney Animation Studios film since Winnie the Pooh, 2011, to employ the taller 1.85:1 aspect ratio instead of 2.39:1, a decision made to get closer to the characters. This layout was supplemented by romantic lighting. 26, 168 According to Howard, romantic, meaning heightened in spirit, is the film's key word in terms of the approach towards cinematography and lighting. The latter was also inspired by magical realism, due to the genre's heavy influence on the writing and characters. 40. The directors aimed to use the film's optics to portray strong emotions. Alessandro Giacomini and Daniel Rice, directors of cinematography and lighting, respectively, stated this use would amplify, exaggerate, and distort perception, which is very in line with Mirabel's point of view as a narrator. Her feelings of being left out were also shown using emotive lighting. The directors frequently reminded the crew of the emotional subtext of every scene as well as the intricacies of the individual parts. That subtext was applied by Warner, Giacomini, and Rice in elaborate sequences, such as the song Surface Pressure. 26, 168. Soundtrack. Main article, Encanto, soundtrack. In June 2020, Miranda publicly revealed that he had begun to write the film's music, which would have 8 original songs in both Spanish and English. 48 After the film's premiere, he disclosed that he had been writing songs for the film from the very beginning. 22 On September 8, 2021, Jermaine Franco, co-composer of the songs for Coco, 2017, began to score the film. 10:49:50. Encanto was released on November 19, 2021. A huge commercial success. Alike the film, the soundtrack reached number 1 on the US Billboard 200, becoming the first Disney soundtrack since that of Frozen 2, 2019, to top the chart. 51 The track We Don't Talk About Bruno broke various records and became one of Disney's most successful songs of all time. It topped the US Billboard Hot 100 and the UK Singles Chart, and marked Disney's first number 1 song on the former in the 21st century and its first ever on the latter. 52-53 making Encanto the first Disney film to produce a number 1 song and a number 1 album. 54. Release. Marketing. The first look of the film was shown on December 10, 2020, during Disney's Investor Day. 55 The teaser trailer was released on July 8, 2021. 56 Which garnered acclaim from internet users due to Louisa's physical appearance, especially her muscles. She was dubbed the Buff Lady. 57-58 The official trailer was released on September 29, 2021. 59 For its opening weekend at the box office, Disney spent $14 million on television advertisements to promote the film, generating 1.26 billion impressions. Deadline Hollywood said the marketing failed to distinguish the film from other Disney properties, causing audience members to believe that it would be similar to Coco. 60/Film was critical of Disney's merchandising, most of which featured Mirabel and Isabella. Many members of the Madrigal family could only be bought in more costly merchandise of the entire family. Since Isabella is considered the perfect and beautiful sister, the website stated the merchandise reinforces the idea that beauty is the most effective marketing tactic for young girls. 57. Theatrical. Disney held the film's world premiere at the El Capitan Theater in Hollywood, Los Angeles, on November 3, 2021. 61 And also held a Colombia premiere at the Teatro Colón in Bogotá, Colombia on November 23, 2021. 62. The film was theatrically released in the United States on November 24. In response to the COVID-19 pandemic, it had an exclusive 30-day theatrical run before being released on Disney Plus on December 24. 63. The film was paired with the short film Far From the Tree. 64. 65. Encanto was released in China on January 7, 2022. 66. On February 16, 2022, the film was re-released in cinemas after its success on Disney Plus and Academy Award nominations. 67. As part of Disney's 100th anniversary, Encanto was re-released in Helios theaters across Poland on October 28, 2023. 68. Home media. Encanto was released on Disney Plus on December 24, 2021, and was released by Walt Disney Studios Home Entertainment on DVD, Blu-ray, and Ultra HD Blu-ray on February 8, 2022. Bonus features include Let's Talk About Bruno, Arcasita, Journey to Colombia, Familia Lo Es Todo, A Journey Through Music, and a sing-along version of the movie. 69. The short film Far From the Tree was also released alongside the film on streaming and on physical media. 70. Analytics company Samba TV, which gathers viewership data from certain smart TVs and content providers, calculated that 2 million U.S. households watched Encanto over the holiday weekend of December 24 to 26, 2021. Viewership was particularly high in Sacramento, plus 58%, Seattle, plus 36%, and Los Angeles, plus 30%. Demographics that over-indexed compared to the U.S. overall included households with younger viewers, 0 to 19 years, female viewers, plus 9%, and Hispanic viewers, plus 64%. 71. Nielsen Media Research, which records streaming viewership on some U.S. television screens, calculated that Encanto was the most watched film of 2022 with 27.4 billion minutes viewed, approximately 269 million complete showings. This figure was more than double that of the second-place film on the year-end list, Turning Red, 11.43 billion minutes. 72-73. Encanto subsequently ranked as the second most streamed film of 2023 with 9.7 billion minutes viewed, behind Moana. 74-75. In 2024, Encanto ranked as the fifth most streamed film of the year, recording 6.61 billion minutes of watch time. 76-77. Between January and June 2025, Encanto accumulated 2.620 billion minutes of viewing time, ranking as the 19th most streamed film in that period. 78-79. Reception. Globe icon. The examples and perspective in this section deal primarily with the English-speaking world and do not represent a worldwide view of the subject. You may improve this section, discuss the issue on the talk page, or create a new section, as appropriate. April 2022, learn how and when to remove this message. Box office. Encanto grossed $96.1 million in the United States and Canada, and $160.4 million in other territories, for a worldwide total of $256.5 million. 4-5. Encanto was 2021's highest grossing animated film before it was surpassed by Sing 2. 80-81. Factoring in both the film's production budget and marketing expenses, along with the theater's share of revenues, Encanto was estimated to need to gross at least $300 million worldwide to break even. 82. Nevertheless, the film went viral over the 2021 holiday season and achieved wider commercial success after its digital release to Disney Plus on December 24, 2021. 83-84-85. In the United States and Canada, it was released alongside House of Gucci and Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City, and originally projected to gross $35 to $40 million from 3,980 theaters in its 5-day opening weekend. 86. It opened nationwide on Wednesday, November 24, 2021, the day before American Thanksgiving, and made $7.5 million on its first day, including $1.5 million from Tuesday night previews. It went on to make $40.6 million in its first 5 days. 87 of the 3.7 million moviegoers who saw it, 52% were Latino and Hispanic, 51% were families, and 62% were female. Though its 5-day opening gross was lower than Pixar's The Good Dinosaur, 2015, $55.4 million, which failed at the box office in 2015, Encanto had the best opening weekend for an animated film during the COVID-19 pandemic. 88. In its second weekend, it made $13.1 million, less than the second weekend results of The Good Dinosaur, $15.3 million, and Tangled, 2010, $21.6 million, but higher than The Princess and the Frog, 2009, $12.1 million. 89-90 it went on to finish in second place in its third and fourth weekends, earning $10 million and $6.5 million, respectively. 91-92 in its fifth weekend, it made $1.8 million and dropped to ninth place at the box office. 93-94 in its sixth weekend, it finished in 10th place with $1.08 million. 95 it dropped out of the box office top 10 in its seventh weekend, finishing 11th with $613,501. 96. Outside of the US and Canada, it made $29.3 million from 47 markets in its opening weekend. The top countries in its first 5 days were France, $3.5 million, Colombia, $2.6 million, the UK, $2.4 million, Korea, $2.2 million, and Italy, $2.1 million. 97-98 it earned $20.7 million in its second weekend and $13.6 million in its third. 99-100 in its fourth weekend, it became Colombia's second highest grossing animated film of all time. 101 in its fifth weekend, it crossed the $100 million mark outside the US and Canada. 102 it earned $3.5 million in its sixth weekend, 103 $5.8 million in its seventh, 104 and $3.6 million in its eighth. 105 as of January 9, 2022, its largest markets are France, $18.5 million, Colombia, $10.2 million, the UK, $8.8 million, Spain, $7.3 million, and Japan, $6.6 million. 104. Critical response. The general consensus on Encanto is that, if you tend to enjoy most modern Disney movies, you'll probably enjoy Encanto, as it has a lot in common with them. However, you might just find something truly special within that tried and true formula. Dirk Libby, CinemaBlend writer 106. Encanto received critical acclaim. B News channel CNBC reported reviewers considered it among Walt Disney Animation's best films. 111 on the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, 92% of 210 critics' reviews are positive, with an average rating of 7.5/10. The website's consensus reads, Encanto's setting and cultural perspective are new for Disney, but the end result is the same, enchanting, beautifully animated fun for the whole family. 112. Metacritic, which uses a weighted average, assigned the film a score of 75 out of 100 based on 41 critics, indicating generally favorable reviews. 113 audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of A on an A+ to F scale, 114, while those at PostTrack gave it an 88% positive score, with 70% saying they would definitely recommend it. 60. The film's animation, which journalists considered beautiful, 115, was a source of plaudits. 111 RogerEbert.com critic Monica Castillo thought the musical sequences and characters' rooms allowed animation more artistic and abstract than that of previous Disney films. 116 writing for Good Morning America, Peter Travers deemed the visuals of Encanto miraculous 117, while Srimayi Das of First Post described the animation as having spellbinding intricacy. 118 varieties. Owen Gleiberman gave acclaim, saying Encanto has been visualized with a vivacious naturalistic glow, swirling flower petals, eye candy pastels, that, at moments, is nearly psychedelic. 119 David Rooney from The Hollywood Reporter highlighted the film's colors and the designs of the costumes, natural settings, and casita for particular praise. 124 IndieWire, Kristen Lopez lauded the visuals as stunning and lifelike. IGN's Andrea Towers called the animation beautiful. 121 The Daily Telegraph film critic Robbie Collin was particularly amazed. Encanto's animation is dazzling in all sorts of ways, with technical effects and flights of creative fancy that would have been unimaginable even a year ago, particularly during the musical numbers. 122. Critics found the film's songs spellbinding. 111 According to Ben Travis of Empire, the songs once again demonstrate Miranda's abundant skills for enchanting, wondrous melodies and lyrics. 123 For Chicago Sun-Times and the Daily Herald, respectively, Richard Roper and Dan Gyer described the music as infectious and instantly memorable, and emotionally distilled and verbally nimble. 124 125 The Detroit News writer Adam Graham agreed, commenting that the songs lift Encanto to the sky. 126 Similarly, the Arizona Republic's Bill Goody Kuntz regarded them as the film's peak. 127 CNN writer Brian Lowry shared a similar view. 128 Nevertheless, many journalists found fault with the music, such as National Review's Kyle Smith, who called it thuddingly mediocre. 129 Though he found the songs breezy and fun, Christian Holub of Entertainment Weekly deemed them unmemorable. 130 Writing for Bleeding Cool, Caitlin Booth believed the music was no thing particularly special and that a lack of songs would have benefited the film. 131. Encanto is about a lot more than just representation. The happiness portrayed in Encanto isn't just escapism, it's defiance. It's about challenging that notion that we Colombians have to be miserable forever. It's about the miracle of thriving when you seem almost cosmically predisposed to suffer ad infinitum. Because that's what Colombia is, a country of people trying their best to thrive in spite of themselves. Jose Maria Luna, Polygon writer. 132. Reviewers singled out Encanto's representation and diversity for particular praise. 133 Writing for The Guardian, Simran Hans found the awareness of culturally unique generational trauma and displacement intriguing and surprising. 134 Despite being critical of a perceived disguise of cultural representation, Rafael Montemayor of the New York Observer stated that when the film dives into the specificity of its portrayal of Colombia, it becomes an exciting, nuanced, complex magical realist adventure that propels Disney into a new era. 135 The Independent's Clarissa Locke Gray highlighted that the cultural specificity was more than simple aesthetic or linguistic references, commending the incorporation of magical realism and various skin tones. 136 Wellen Barzil of Time Out summarized the film as a genuine love letter to the diversity of Latin America. 137. Reviews with regards to the film's portrayal of family dynamics deemed the aspect one of its strengths. 133 According to Slant Magazine's Derek Smith, Encanto thrives in expressing not only the typical message of the value of family but also the concept that even the best families require much effort to stay intact. 138 Preston Barra of Denton Record Chronicle named the message of family a contributing factor to the film becoming a must-see family event. 139 Fellow journalist Matt Goldberg, who writes for Collider, commended the message of being enough because family is enough. 140 Polygon's Petrona Rajulovic found the familial interaction stunningly realistic and strengthened by magical metaphors. 141 Many critics also acclaimed Encanto's emotional depth. The AV Club's Caroline Seed lauded the depiction of intergenerational trauma. 142 According to Screen International critic Tim Grierson, when the directors concentrate on the script's underlying emotions, the film is extremely moving. 143 Writing for Cinema Blend, Dirk Libby opined that every audience member would eventually cry once they discovered which character they identified with most. 144 Movie Web singled out Mirabel's search for acceptance and a purpose, stating buckets of tears are going to be shed. 145. Regarding Disney's regular formula, Encanto divided reviewers, some thought that it departed from the formula well. 106 Forbes' Scott Mendelson called the film terrifically unconventional, 146 While world critic Colin Garbarino highlighted several aspects that he recognized as deviating from the formula, such as a lack of princesses and villains, as well as the focus on community. 147 Vulture's Bill Jeberai attributed the film's enchanting qualities to the smaller-scale narrative. He explained that when the madrigal's inner journey is combined with the typical Disney spectacle, it becomes an unexpected, downright Circan power. 148 others found it too similar to other Disney films. For Pittsburgh Magazine, Sean Collier felt the film was just another by-the-numbers Disney flick, 149 while Peter Bradshaw from The Guardian thought that the story wants to have its metaphorical cake and eat it, deeming it contrived. 150/Films Josh Spiegel thought Encanto included a mixture of formulaic aspects from many of the previous Disney and Pixar films, and failed to make them unnoticeable. 151. Some critics found the story unfocused. The Irish Independent's Paul Whittington considered the plot too aimless, to satisfy anyone for long. 152 Alice Foreman of Mashable concurred and felt several parts of Mirabel's journey were arbitrary. She had a particularly negative opinion of the film's middle section, which she called tedious. 153 The Globe and Mail writer Aparita Bundari asserted the internal, rather than external, source of conflict and several unanswered questions confused her, preventing her from immersing herself in the film. 154 From USA Today, Brian Truitt expressed his disappointment in the third act, which he said misses Encanto's focal point. 155 David Lynch, writing for Cannes, agreed, and stated the act was weak due to an underdeveloped relationship between Mirabel and Alma, as well as clumsy writing. 156 Multiple critics also cited the film's lack of villains as a detractor. 157/158. Metacritic reported that Encanto appeared in 5 critic top 10 lists, including CNN and New York Daily News's non-ranked lists, and Pittsburgh Post-Gazette's ranking, 9th. 159 The film has also appeared on several lists of the best animated films of 2021, including those by Paste, 10th, 160 Rotten Tomatoes, 6th, 161 Screen Rant, non-ranked, 162 Movie Web, 5th, 163 Vulture, non-ranked, 164 and Comic Book Resources, 6th. 165 Variety, IndieWire, Gold Derby, Entertainment Weekly, The Hollywood Reporter, Den of Geek, and the Los Angeles Times named the film the most likely to win the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature, see which was ultimately the case. 173. Impact and Response. See also, Encanto, Soundtrack, Impact. The Denver Post journalist John Wenzel wrote, with Encanto alongside other 2021 films like West Side Story and Being the Ricardos, Latino voices are having a moment in U.S. cinema, injecting a diverse set of cultures long ignored by TV, books, movies, video games, stage shows and news media. 174. Pamela Avila, writing for USA Today, underscored that Encanto is Disney's first feature with an all-Latin American cast, capturing the complicated tug and pull between older and younger generations in Hispanic families. 175. Roughly 25% of viewership comes from Hispanic households, while 40% of viewers are between the ages of 2 and 11. 176. Billboard writer Leela Kobo said, following the success of Colombian musicians like Shakira, Maluma, and J Balvin in the US, Colombia is finally seen and not just heard via Encanto. Kobo praised the film for not homogenizing all of the Latin American countries in the manner US media has generally been, instead accurately depicting the culture unique to Colombia, from accents to outfits to minute details like the hand-painted tableware, the embroidered dresses, the food, the many colors of our skin, even the animals, including the ubiquitous toucan and the yellow butterflies that are synonymous with Garcia Marquez. 177. Johanna Ferreira of Pop Sugar wrote that the success of both Encanto and its soundtrack speaks to not just the importance and significance of this type of representation in animated films, but also how movies like this are really changing how Latino stories are being told. She stated Encanto celebrates the importance of family and respect for Latin American culture, featuring animated stories about Latinos written by Latinos, with characters voiced by Latinos, and a storyline that actually celebrates Latino communities rather than stereotype Latino. 178. Mikhail Wood of Los Angeles Times stated Encanto became 2022's first widespread cultural phenomenon, bolstered by its unique direction and music. 179. Far-out journalist Tyler Posen called the effect Encanto mania. 180. Various social media trends surrounding Encanto had people posting videos of their children recognizing themselves for perhaps the first time in the movie's characters. 179. Luisa's physical appearance has been praised for representing muscular women, a departure from Disney's conventionally feminine depiction of female protagonists as small and skinny. 181. As of January 23, 2022, the videos tagged with the hashtag Encanto have collectively amassed more than 11.5 billion views on TikTok. 182. 183. The film's characters and their dynamics have fueled a discourse among mental health specialists, many of whom reported that their clients, especially first-generation children of immigrants, see themselves reflected in the story of Encanto and use the film to communicate about things that otherwise might go unsaid. Mirabel, Isabella, Luisa, Alma, and Bruno have been the most discussed characters, with Bruno being associated with neurodivergent family members. Speaking to CNN, psychotherapist Kadesha Adelakan stated there are so many layers to Encanto, portraying issues many families are going through. 184. 185. Accolades. Main article, list of accolades received by Encanto. At the 94th Academy Awards, Encanto received nominations for Best Original Score and Best Original Song, and won Best Animated Feature. 173. The film won 3 awards at the 65th Annual Grammy Awards in the Visual Media categories, Best Score Soundtrack, Best Compilation Soundtrack, and Best Song, We Don't Talk About Bruno. 186. Encanto's other nominations include 9 Annie Awards, winning 3, 187 a British Academy Film Award, which it won, 188 2 Critics' Choice Movie Awards 189 and 3 Golden Globe Awards, winning 1. 190 It also won the National Board of Review Award for Best Animated Film. 191. Other media. Encanto at the Hollywood Bowl. Encanto at the Hollywood Bowl is a 2022 live musical hosted by Lin-Manuel Miranda, which includes some of the film's cast members performing the songs from the film. The stage musical was performed on November 11 and 12 at the Hollywood Bowl, and a filmed special of the show was released on December 28, 2022 on Disney+. 192. Nightmares and Sueños. The young adult novel Nightmares and Sueños, written by Alex Segura, is a prequel to the film that focuses on 17-year-old Bruno and shows why people do not talk about him. 193 It released on December 3, 2024. 194. Video games. Mirabel was added to Disney Dreamlight Valley in a February 2023 update as one of the villagers of the titular valley, along with a small version of Casita called Mini Casita as her home. 195 in the world-building game Disney Magic Kingdoms. During a limited-time event with a storyline set after the events of the film, Mirabel, Bruno, Isabella, Luisa, and Antonio were added as playable characters, along with Casita and Isabella's room as attractions. 196-197 Theme Park Attractions. On March 21, 2024, Disney announced that a new Encanto stage show, Celebration Encanto, would temporarily run from June 10 through September 6, 2024. However, it was later announced that it would become a full-time entertainment offering, and is currently permanent. The show is held multiple times daily at the Communicore Plaza in the World Celebration area at Epcot, and features live appearances from Mirabel and Bruno. 198-199 Upcoming theme park ride. In August 2024, it was announced that an Encanto ride is in development for Disney's Animal Kingdom, scheduled to open in 2027 as part of a new Tropical America section of the park, which will replace Dino Land USA. The ride will take guests on a tour of the casita on the day of Antonio's gift ceremony, celebrating his connection with animals. 200. Future. Jared Bush and Charisse Castro-Smith said they are open to a potential Disney Plus series. Bush stated he would be happy to see a show about any member of the family, and Castro-Smith shared that Miranda was very interested in creating a show about Dolores. 201 Then Disney CEO Bob Chapek described Encanto as the company's latest franchise during a February 2022 earnings call. 6 However, Miranda revealed in December 2024, 3 years after the film's release, we haven't talked about any Encanto sequels. 202 In March 2025, John Leguizamo reported that the possibility of a sequel is in the works, once the team in charge comes up with a storyline. Stephanie Beatriz Bischoff Alvizuri, born February 10, 1981, is an American actress. She is known for playing Detective Rosa Diaz in the Fox/NBC comedy series Brooklyn Nine-Nine, 2013 to 2021, Quiet in the Peacock action comedy series Twisted Metal, 2023, present, Carla in the musical film In the Heights, 2021, and voicing Mirabel Madrigal in the Disney animated film Encanto, 2021, and Vaggie in the adult animated musical series Hazbin Hotel, 2024, present. Early life. Beatriz was born in Neuquén, Argentina, on February 10, 1981, to a Colombian father and a Bolivian mother. 23 She arrived in the United States at the age of 245 with her parents and a younger sister. Beatriz grew up in Webster, Texas, outside of Houston, and attended Clear Brook High School. 6-7 As a child, her mother took Beatriz and her sister to arts exhibits and events, something she credits for raising her awareness of potential careers in the arts. 8 She became interested in acting after taking speech and debate as an elective, which allowed her to appear in plays. 9 She became a United States citizen at 18. 4-5 Beatriz attended the all-women's Stevens College in Columbia, Missouri. After graduating in 2002, she moved to New York City to pursue acting. 7 She has lived in Los Angeles since 2010. Career. Beatriz performed for 3 seasons at Oregon Shakespeare Festival 10, including roles such as Catherine in A View from a Bridge in 2008, 11 Maggie in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof in 2010, 12, and Isabella in Measure for Measure in 2011. 13. Beatriz had minor roles in the police procedural television series The Closer and Southland, and a recurring role as Gloria's sister Sonia Ramirez in the ABC comedy series Modern Family. In 2013, she began portraying Detective Rosa Diaz in the Fox and NBC series Brooklyn Nine-Nine, an action comedy series based around the members of a Brooklyn police precinct. In 2019, she directed the season 6 episode He Said, She Said. The show ran for 8 seasons. Beatriz starred as Bonnie in the independent feature film The Light of the Moon, written and directed by Jessica M. Thompson. The film premiered at the 2017 South by Southwest Film Festival, where it won the Audience Award for Narrative Feature Competition. 14 She received highly positive reviews for her performance, with The Hollywood Reporter stating that Beatriz offers a powerful, unflinching, authentic performance, while Variety noted that the film was harrowingly effective and Beatriz's performance was expertly balanced and judged. 15. From 2018 to 2019, she voiced the character Gina Cazador on BoJack Horseman. She was also the voice of General Sweet Mayhem in the Lego Movie 2, the second part. 16. It was announced in 2019 she would be appearing in the 2021 film adaptation of Lin-Manuel Miranda's Tony Award-winning musical In the Heights. 17 She also voiced Mirabel Madrigal, the main character in the Disney animated film Encanto, making it her second collaboration with Miranda of the Year. 18. In 2019, Beatriz and her Brooklyn Nine-Nine co-star Melissa Fumero were the masters of ceremonies at the National Hispanic Media Coalition Impact Awards. 19. In 2021, Beatriz voiced the lead role in the Texas Rangers-centered crime procedural podcast Tejana. 20. The same year it was announced she voiced Ruby Ortiz in Alpha Betas. 21. She also serves as an executive producer for Tejana and, as of November 2021, was looking to develop a television series based on the characters. 8. She also starred in the sci-fi thriller podcast Solar 22 and hosted Wondery's Twin Flames podcast investigating the dating cult Twin Flames universe. 23. Since 2024, Beatriz has voiced the character Vaggie in Hajbin Hotel. Personal life. Beatriz has severe astigmatism and requires glasses to see clearly. 24. She does not wear them in many of her roles, and her eyes are sensitive to contact lenses, she therefore has difficulty hitting her marks while on camera. 25. 26. She has described herself as suffering from disordered eating. 27. Which she developed during college. 9. Beatriz first realized that she was bisexual around age 12 or 13. 9. She experienced biphobia and bisexual erasure from family and friends. 28. In June 2016, she officially came out to the public. 29. 30. In October 2017, she announced her engagement to Brad Haas. 31. They got married on October 6, 2018. 32. In June 2021, she announced her pregnancy. 33. And her daughter was born in August 2021. Maria Cecilia Botero Kitavid, born May 13, 1955, is a Colombian actress, television presenter, and journalist. 1. Biography. Beginnings. She studied anthropology long before becoming an actress. She is the daughter of former actor, librettist, and director Jamie Botero Gomez. She is the niece of Dora Kitavid. 2. Botero began her acting career with production El Fantasma de Canterville, 1971, alongside Carlos Benjamín, Marija Toro, Enrique Ponton, and Frankie Linero. She replaced Mariela Hijulas, who died during the recording of L'Origine, 1975. She was Manuela Sainz in the series Bolívar, El Hombre de las Dificultades, 1981. She was Maria Candida in La Pezuña del Diablo, 1983, Yadira la Ardiente in Caballo Viejo, 1988, and Sandalo Daza in Musica Maestro, 1990. Her brothers Oscar Botero and Ana Cristina Botero are also actors. 3-4. Professional career. She debuted as movies actress in 1972, when she starred in the film Maria, alongside Fernando Allende. Maria Cecilia Botero is known for her professionalism, thus becoming one of the most beloved figures in Colombian entertainment. 5-6. Her first television role was obtained in 1971, acting in El Fantasma de Canterville. Then she participated in Lunes de Comedia, L'Origine, Caminos de Gloria, Lejos del Nido, Los Novios, La Pezuna del Diablo, La Rosa de los Vientos, Dos Mujeres, and Ama La Academia, just to mention a few productions. Perhaps her most remembered characters are Yadira la Ardiente, from the telenovela Caballo Viejo, and Sandalo Daza, from Musica Maestro. Citation needed. Parallel to her career as actress, Maria Cecilia produced and starred in several musical comedies directed by her husband, the Argentine David Stivel, with whom he lived since 1981, now deceased. With him, she had a son named Mateo Stivelberg. 6. Her dream of popularizing musical theater in Colombia led her to make productions as important as Peter Pan, Sugar, and La Mujer del Ano. The versatile artist who also stood out as the presenter of television newscasts, CM and Noticiero de las 7, and as host of the talk shows Maria C. Contigo and Las Tardes de Maria C. 7. In 2005 she was invited to be part of the soap opera Lorena, produced by RCN Television, where she played her first antagonistic role, giving life to the evil Rufina de Ferrero, where she radically changed her look and showed her great histrionic capacity. 6. Maria Cecilia directs the Charlotte Academy, an acting school created by her father, Jamie Botero. 8. She presented the program Dia a Dia on the Caracol television channel, together with Catalina Gomez and Ahmed Escaf. 9. Movie Encanto. In 2021, she voiced the character of Abuela Alma in the Disney movie Encanto 10 along with other acting voices, such as John Leguizamo, Angie Cepeda, and Carolina Gaitan. John Alberto Leguizamo Peles, Leguizamo Leguizamo, Colombian Spanish, Leguizamo, born July 22, 1960 or 1964, Note 1 is an American stand-up comedian, actor, and film producer. He has appeared in more than 100 films, produced more than 20 films and documentaries, made more than 30 television appearances, and has produced various television projects. He has also written and performed for the Broadway stage, receiving 4 Tony Award nominations for Freak in 1998, Sexaholics in 2002, and Latin History for Morons in 2018. He received a special Tony Award in 2018. Leguizamo began his career as a stand-up comedian in New York City. After several years of doing supporting roles in film and television, he rose to fame with major roles in the fantasy adventure Super Mario Bros. Portraying Luigi Mario and the crime drama Carlitos Way portraying Benny Blanco, both from 1993, followed by a role as drag queen Chi Chi Rodriguez in the road comedy To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything. Julie Newmar, 1995, for which he received a nomination for the Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actor. Other films Leguizamo has since appeared in include Romeo plus Juliet, 1996, The Pest, 1997, Summer of Sam, 1999, Moulin Rouge, 2001, Empire, 2002, Love in the Time of Cholera, 2007, Righteous Kill, 2008, The Lincoln Lawyer, 2011, The Counselor, 2013, John Wick, 2014, John Wick 2, 2017, and The Menu, 2022. As a voice actor, he narrated the sitcom The Brothers Garcia, 2000 to 2004, and played Sid the Sloth in the Ice Age franchise, 2002, present, and Bruno Madrigal in Encanto, 2021. 3. Leguizamo is also known for his television roles including his television special Freak, 1998, a filmed version of his eponymous Broadway show, for which he received the 1999 Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Individual Performance in a Variety or Music Program. For this was a historic win, making Leguizamo the first ever Latino to win this award in Emmy history. 5. He received further Primetime Emmy Award nominations for the Paramount miniseries Waco, 2018, and the Netflix limited series When They See Us, 2019. He has also appeared on ER, The Kill Point, Bloodline, and The Mandalorian. 6. In 2023, he hosted the MSNBC series Leguizamo Does America. 7. Early life and education. Leguizamo was born in Bogotá, Colombia, the son of Luz Marina Pérez and Alberto Rudolfo Leguizamo. His father was once an aspiring film director and studied at Cinecittà in Rome, Italy, but eventually dropped out due to lack of finances. 8. John has indigenous Colombian, Muisca, European, especially Iberian, and some African ancestry. His paternal grandfather was a wealthy Colombian landowner, and his great-great-grandfather Higinio Cuela was mayor of Bogotá for 16 years in the late 1800s and is considered an important modernizer of the city. Before this discovery, Leguizamo had claimed that he was Puerto Rican on his father's side, which was one of the reasons he was selected as the Puerto Rican Day Parade Global Ambassador of the Arts 9 and marched in the parade on June 12, 2011. 10. It was determined that Leguizamo's maternal lineage includes the 16th century Spanish conquistador Sebastián de Belalcázar, as well as Geronimo Bituma, a 17th century indigenous Colombian of noble birth. When Leguizamo was 3 years old, his family emigrated to New York City. 12. Where they lived in various neighborhoods in Queens, including Jackson Heights. 13. 14. He later credited growing up as one of the first Latino children in the neighborhood as formative in his acting ability. It was tough. There were lots of fights. I would walk through a park and be attacked, and I had to defend myself all the time. But this helped me to become funny so that I wouldn't get hit. His parents divorced when he was 13, and he lived with his mother while growing up. 15. 16. 17. 18. Leguizamo and his family constantly moved apartments in Queens, attending multiple elementary schools. Leguizamo was arrested twice as a teenager, once for jumping a turnstile at a New York City subway station and another time for truancy. His family later sent him to Colombia for a year where he stayed with his relatives. 19. Leguizamo attended Joseph Pulitzer Middle School, I.S.145, and later Murray Bergtraum High School. As a student at Murray Bergtraum, he wrote comedy material and tested it on his classmates. He was voted most talkative by his classmates. After graduating from high school, he began his theater career as an undergraduate at NYU's Tisch School of the Arts, from which he eventually dropped out in favor of a career in stand-up comedy. Post-NYU, Leguizamo enrolled at Lou Post and at HB Studio 20 where he took theater classes. Career. Early career. Leguizamo started out as a stand-up comic doing the New York nightclub circuit in 1984, and in 1988, he performed at the Public Theater in 2 shows, including as Puck in A Midsummer Night's Dream in which he appeared with Fisher Stevens. 21. He made his television debut in 1986 with a small part in Miami Vice. His other early roles include, a friend of Madonna's boyfriend in her Borderline video, 1984, Mixed Blood, 1984, Casualties of War, 1989. In the 1990s, he played a terrorist in Die Hard 2, 1990, Hanjin with the Homeboys, 1991, The Robber in Regarding Henry, 1991, Super Mario Bros. 1993, and Night Owl, 1993. In 1991, Leguizamo also wrote and performed in the off-Broadway production Mambo Mouth, where he played 7 different characters. Mambo Mouth won an Obie Award and an Outer Critics Award. He was listed as one of 12 promising new actors of 1991 in John Willis Screen World's Volume 43. Leguizamo in 2008. In 1992, he starred in Whispers in the Dark as John Castillo. In 1993, Leguizamo portrayed Luigi in the film Super Mario Bros., based on the Mario video game franchise. Despite being considered a critical and financial failure universally, the film was considered to be his breakthrough role, allowing him to appear in more successful comedic roles in the following years. That same year, He had a prominent role in Brian De Palma's Carlito's Way as Carlito Brigand's nemesis, Benny Blanco from the Bronx, which also boosted his career in serious roles. In 1993, Leguizamo wrote and performed in Spicorama, where he made fun of the stereotyping of Latinos in the United States. The production won a Drama Desk Award and 4 Cable Ace Awards. Both Mambo Mouth and Spicorama were later filmed for presentation on HBO. In 1995, Leguizamo created, produced, wrote, and starred in the 1995 Latino-oriented variety show called House of Buggin' on Fox Television. Some audiences saw this as the Latino version of In Living Color. The show showcased Leguizamo's well-known ability to assume a wide variety of colorful, energetic characters, but due to poor ratings the show ran less than 1 season. Leguizamo also starred in Romeo plus Juliet, 1996, as Tybalt Capulet, as Violator in Spawn, Cholo in Land of the Dead, and Pestario Pest Vargas in The Pest, the latter being one of his few roles as a lead actor in a studio film. In 1995, he starred as drag queen Chi Chi Rodriguez in To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything. Julie Newmar, for which he received a Golden Globe nomination for Best Supporting Actor, and he starred in the 1996 action film Executive Decision as Captain Rat. In 1998, he debuted on Broadway in the production of Freak, a semi-autobiographical one-person play that was filmed for HBO and released on October 10, 1998, with Spike Lee sitting in as director. The show won him the Drama Desk Award for Outstanding One-Person Show and the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Individual Performance in a Variety or Music Program. In 1999, he starred in the lead role of Vinny in Summer of Sam, which was written and directed by Spike Lee. 2000 to 2009. Leguizamo at the 2007 Toronto International Film Festival. In 2000, Leguizamo portrayed both genies in Arabian Nights, a TV miniseries adaptation of the epic 1001 Nights. In 2001, RCA/BMG Records released John Leguizamo Live, a CD compilation of Leguizamo's stage routines. Among the bits are a primer Leguizamo gives on the history and culture of Latinos in America, which with the dubious tale of the mating of an Inca princess with a Spanish conquistador, thus creating the original dysfunctional Latin family, each member of which is voiced by Leguizamo. The CD also includes a musical intermission, with 2 salsas/hip-hop tunes, The Night Before Christmas and Gotta Get Some, and footage from Leguizamo's tours and 2 interactive games, Spanish Fly Pickup Line. To promote the 2001 movie Moulin Rouge, he appeared on a celebrity edition of the US version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? With Kelly Ripa, Kevin Sorbo, Alfre Woodard, Martin Short, and Chevy Chase. Appearing as the first celebrity to sit in the hot seat, he eventually tried for $125,000, but got the answer wrong. In 2002, he starred in the movie Empire. That same year he wrote and performed in Sexaholics, a love story, which explained his love life and how he started his own family. Later in 2002, on the syndicated version, a question about the movie featured his character, and Meredith Vieira mentioned that Leguizamo had played Lautrec and had been on the show. In 2002, he voiced Sid the Sloth for the film Ice Age, reprising the role for the sequels Ice Age, The Meltdown, Ice Age, Dawn of the Dinosaurs, Ice Age, Continental Drift and Ice Age, Collision Course. The game versions of the films also used his voice. In 2003, he voice-acted Glowbox from Rayman 3, Hoodlum Havoc. Leguizamo portrayed Paul in the Brad Anderson thriller film Vanishing on 7th Street. 22. Leguizamo at the 2010 Tribeca Film Festival. In 2004, he guest-starred on Dora the Explorer as Captain Pirate Piggy. During the 2005-06 television season, Leguizamo joined the cast of the show ER, playing the emotionally disturbed Dr. Victor Clemente, a new attending who is keen on introducing the staff of County General to better ways of treating patients and cutting-edge technology. Clemente, however, was plagued with personal problems and was fired from the hospital near the end of the season. Dr. Clementi's departure from the show was a blessing for Leguizamo. He revealed to Crave Online that he was not happy working on the television program. "I was depressed doing ER," he admitted. "I started gaining weight, I was eating donuts, I started smoking again. I'm eating McDonald's, things that I know when I'm depressed I do. I tried to kill myself internally." 23. In 2006, Leguizamo starred in the television pilot for Edison, a 2006 CBS drama about a Los Angeles detective, played by Leguizamo, who relied on impersonations and disguises to solve crimes. Other cast members included Curry Graham and Deirdre Henry. Kevin Rodney Sullivan directed from a script by Ron Milbauer and Terry Hughes. Leguizamo and David Hoberman also served as executive producers. In October 2006, Leguizamo's memoir, Pimps, Hoes, Playa Hotas and All the Rest of My Hollywood Friends, My Life, was released. During an interview on Late Night with Conan O'Brien, he stated that his memoir was very candid about experiences involving other celebrities he had worked with. He stated that working with Arnold Schwarzenegger on Collateral Damage, 2002, was one of the most enjoyable experiences he'd had as an actor, that Schwarzenegger's accent let him say things that others would think were sexist or homophobic if said by someone else, and that Steven Seagal was an egotist with diva tendencies. 24. In 2007, he played Michael Beltran in the movie The Babysitters. In 2008, he co-starred in the movie The Happening, written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. 25. In July 2007, Spike TV aired its drama series The Kill Point, which starred Leguizamo, Donnie Wahlberg, and Michael Hyatt. The show was an 8-part series revolving around ex-war veterans whose bank robbery went wrong, thus ending in a hostage situation. Despite high ratings, The Kill Point was not renewed for a second season. A year later, Leguizamo guest starred on Sesame Street as Captain Vegetable, who tells Elmo to eat his vegetables. 2010 to 2016. Leguizamo in 2013. In 2010, Leguizamo also guest starred on The Electric Company as himself, rhyming about commas and quotation marks. In June 2010, Leguizamo opened his semi-autobiographical one-man theater show, Class Clown, later renamed Ghetto Clown, based on his memoir Pimps, Hoes, Playa Hotas, and All the Rest of My Hollywood Friends, My Life. After the show had run at various theaters in the United States, and Leguizamo had performed an unplugged version of it under the title John Leguizamo Warms Up at a Chicago theater, it opened on Broadway in March 2011 at the Lyceum Theater. 26, 27, 28, 29. The show, about Leguizamo's path from obscurity to stardom, opened to many positive reviews and was extended through July 10, 2011. A CD of the show was released. In 2011, Leguizamo received the Outer Critics Circle Award for Outstanding Solo Performance 30 and the Drama Desk Award for Outstanding Solo Performance for his performance in the show. 31. In September 2011, Leguizamo began an international tour of Ghetto Clown in Los Angeles. 32. On July 13, 2012, PBS debuted Tales from a Ghetto Clown, a documentary about Leguizamo's life and the show's development. On November 16, 2013, John taped Ghetto Clown at the New Jersey Performing Arts Center in Newark, New Jersey for HBO. 33. In 2012, Leguizamo was cast as Derek Trotter in the American remake of the British BBC sitcom Only Fools and Horses. In October 2013, Leguizamo started filming for The Crash, starring alongside Frank Grillo, Anna Sophia Robb, Diana Agron, Ed Westwick, Minnie Driver, Mary McCormick, Christopher McDonald, and Maggie Q. 34. The film is directed by Aram Rappaport and produced by Hilary Shore, Atit Shah, and Aaron Becker. In 2014, Leguizamo starred alongside Jon Favreau in Chef as the line cook Martin, a role he prepared for by working as an actual line cook at the Lion in the West Village. 35. Also in 2014, he played a drug dealer in the action comedy film American Ultra alongside Jesse Eisenberg and Kristen Stewart. He also starred in John Wick as Aurelio in 2014. The Crash was released on January 13, 2017. 36. Leguizamo appearing at the Chicago Theater in September 2014. In 2015, Abrams Comicarts published the graphic novel adaptation of Leguizamo's one-man Broadway show, Ghetto Clown. As with the live show, the graphic novel explores the actor-slash-comedian's life and career, beginning with his adolescence in Queens, New York, his involvement in 1980s avant-garde theater, his feature film career, and some of the colorful characters he encountered throughout his life. Leguizamo describes the work. Ghetto Clown is the history that I probably never should have told anyone but my therapist, but it's a real lesson that even if you suffer a certain amount, a lot, of self-doubt and anxiety, you can still accomplish great things. It's a lesson I'm really excited to impart to a whole new audience. The comic is illustrated by Krista Cassano. 37. In 2016, Leguizamo played the role of Ozzy Del Vecchio in the second season of the Netflix original series Bloodline. Also in 2016, he produced the Q Brothers' Othello, the remix at Off-Broadway's West Side Theater. 38. 2017, present. In 2017, Leguizamo sang on Almost Like Praying, a charitable song written and composed by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Proceeds from the song went to the Hispanic Federation to assist relief efforts for those in Puerto Rico who were affected by Hurricane Maria. 39. Also in 2017, he debuted Latin History for Morons 40, a show about the participation of Latin Americans throughout U.S. history. The show premiered at the Public Theater before moving to Studio 54. Latin History for Morons was nominated for the 2018 Tony Award for Best Play. 41. That year, he also was presented with a special Tony Award for his body of work and for his commitment to bringing diverse stories and audiences to Broadway for 3 decades. 42. In January 2018, Leguizamo was announced as the host of the 63rd Obie Awards held in May 2018 at Terminal 5. 43. In 2018, Leguizamo played undercover ATF agent Jacob Vasquez in the Paramount Network miniseries Waco. The following year, Leguizamo played Raymond Santana's father Raymond Santana Sr. in the Netflix miniseries When They See Us. Leguizamo wrote the original musical Kiss My Aztec, with book by Leguizamo and director Tony Tacone, music by Benjamin Velez, and lyrics by Velez, Leguizamo, and David Camp. It was developed at the Public Theater in 2018 and premiered at Berkeley Repertory Theater and La Jolla Playhouse in 2019, where it received critical acclaim. 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. Leguizamo also received Smithsonian Magazine's 2018 American Ingenuity Award in the History category. 50. In 2020, Leguizamo played Gorkorsh in Season 2, Episode 1 of the Disney Plus series The Mandalorian. In 2021, he played Estragon opposite Ethan Hawke as Vladimir in Waiting for Godot and Wallace Shawn with the new group offstage as a video performance during the COVID-19 pandemic. 51. In 2021, Leguizamo provided the voice of Bruno Madrigal in the Disney animated film Encanto 52, which received the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. In 2022 he acted in the critically acclaimed Mark Mila-directed comedy horror film The Menu alongside Anya Taylor-Joy and Ralph Fiennes, where he played a washed-up movie star attending an exclusive restaurant with his assistant played by Amy Carrero. Leguizamo based his character on Steven Seagal, with whom he co-starred in Executive Decision. 53. In 2022, he played Scrooge in the Christmas action comedy Violent Night. 54. In 2023, he briefly hosted The Daily Show after Trevor Noah's departure. Leguizamo was part of a series of rotating guest hosts. His brief tenure was a ratings hit, becoming the second most watched of the rotating guests only behind Al Franken. Other guest hosts included Sarah Silverman, Hassan Minhaj, Roy Wood Jr., Wanda Sykes, Leslie Jones, Kal Penn, Chelsea Handler, and Marlon Wayans. 55. It also was announced he would host the MSNBC series Leguizamo Does America, premiering on April 16 of that year. 756. In summer 2023, his play, Our Hood, an adaptation of Thornton Wilder's Our Town, had its first reading at the Guthrie Theatre under the direction of Meja Garcia. 57. Leguizamo is the host of the PBS series, American Historia, The Untold History of Latinos, which premiered September 27, 2024. 58. Leguizamo played Nelson Castro in the play The Other Americans, which ran from September 11, 2025, to October 19, 2025, at the Public Theater. 59. Personal life. Leguizamo married actress Yelba Osorio in 1994 and divorced in 1996 after 2 years of marriage. 60. He married Justine Morer, a costumer on Carlitos Way 61 on June 28, 2003. Leguizamo is Catholic, and Morer is Jewish. 62. They have 2 children, daughter Allegra Sky Leguizamo 63-64, born 1999, and son Ryder Lee Lucas Leguizamo, born 2000. 65, 66, 67, 68. They live in Manhattan. 69. In 2008, Leguizamo received the Rita Moreno Ola Award for Excellence from the Hispanic Organization of Latin Actors, OLA. In 2011, he received the Made in New York Award from New York City. 70-71. In 2018, Leguizamo received an honorary degree from Marymount Manhattan College. 72. Leguizamo gave the commencement speech to the class of 2022 at Vassar College. 73. Activism. In 2004, Leguizamo was one of the celebrity supporters of Voto Latino, co-founded by Rosario Dawson. 74. In 2012, he co-founded NGL, Next Generation Latinx, collective to create content for Latinx audiences. 75. Backed by Go Digital Media Group, in 2022 NGL merged with Mitua to create the largest digital-first Latinx powerhouse in the U.S. 76. Leguizamo has also been heralded as a preservationist for the Greenwich Village Society for Historic Preservation. 77. In 2016, Leguizamo authored a searing op-ed in the New York Times, calling out Donald Trump's racist rhetoric and urging Latinos to vote. 78. As of 2022, he is on the board of directors for the National Museum of the American Latino. 79. Leguizamo has also been an activist directly through his artistic work. In 2017, he opened Latin History for Morons at the Public, and it later went to Broadway. Netflix filmed it in 2018, advocating that teaching Latin history is the first step toward conquering prejudice. 80. In 2020, Leguizamo's directorial debut, Critical Thinking, was released. He starred in the biographical drama set in 1998 about an inner-city teacher and students who compete in the U.S. National Chess Championship. 81. He said that he wanted to create a universal message of hope and spread this message to the world. 82. In 2022, he performed Ghetto Clown at Rikers Island Correctional Facility for an audience of justice-involved young men. 83. Leguizamo is an outspoken critic of Hollywood's whitewashing in the casting of movies. In 2022, he spoke out against the casting of James Franco to portray Fidel Castro in the upcoming film Melina of Cuba, La Hija Rebelde, stating, "I don't got a prob with Franco but he ain't Latino." 84. In a 2023 interview with TMZ, Leguizamo, who previously starred in the 1993 Super Mario Bros. Film, criticized the Super Mario Bros. Movie for having actors Chris Pratt and Charlie Day voice the Italian-American Mario and Luigi, saying, "No, I will not be watching." They could have included a Latin character, like I was groundbreaking and then they stopped the groundbreaking. They messed up the inclusion. They disincluded. Just cast some Latin folk. We're 20% of the population. The largest people of color group and we are underrepresented. 85. Leguizamo is an advocate for LGBTQ+ rights. In 2023, he, alongside other figures, appeared in a video produced by Teen Vogue and online magazine Them called Dear Trans Youth, affirming his support for transgender youth. Angelica Maria Cepeda Jimenez, born August 2, 1974, professionally known as Angie Cepeda, is a Colombian actress. She is best known for her roles in the telenovela Pobre Diabla and the films Captain Pantoja and the Special Services and Love in the Time of Cholera. She is the younger sister of actress Lorna Cepeda. Early life. Cepeda was born in Cartagena de Indias, Colombia, and raised in Barranquilla. After her parents divorced, she lived with her mother and two older sisters, one of whom is actress Lorna Paz. Career. When she discovered her vocation in drama, she moved out to Bogotá. After starting her drama courses, she was contracted by a beer company and made some advertisements for it. Next, she played some bit parts in several soap operas and movies in Colombia. Cepeda got a role in the soap opera Las Juanas, getting the attention of some TV producers who offered her jobs in prime-time shows, such as the leading role in Luz Maria, 1998, co-starring Christian Meyer and Rosalinda Surfati, and that as Fiorella Morelli Floresta Mejia Guzman in Pobre Diabla, 2000, opposite Salvador Dal Solar and Santiago Miguel. In the cinematic world, Peruvian director Francisco Lombardi convinced her to portray a prostitute called La Colombiana in Pantaleon y los Visitadores, released in English as Captain Pantoja and the Special Services. In 2021, she voiced Julieta Madrigal in the English, Spanish and Italian language versions of the Disney animated musical film Encanto. Jessica Darrow, born January 7, 1995, is an American actress and singer, one best known for voicing the character Luisa Madrigal in Disney's Encanto and for playing Mickey Easton in 15 Love. 2. Early life. Darrow was born in Miami, Florida. She is of Cuban descent. As a teenager, she watched Disney films and listened to songs written by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Darrow attended and graduated from Rutgers University. 3. Career. Darrow's first film role was Sarah in the 2019 film Feast of the Seven Fishes, directed by Robert Tinnell. She rose to fame in 2021 acting in the Disney animated feature film Encanto as the voice of Luisa Madrigal. She sang one of the film's most popular songs, Surface Pressure, which was certified platinum by the RIA and peaked at number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart in early 2022. Darrow voiced Mimi in Grand Theft Auto Online's 2021 update Los Santos Tuners. Diane Guerrero, born July 21, 1986, is an American actress. She is known for her roles as inmate Maritza Ramos in the Netflix series Orange is the New Black and Lena on Jane the Virgin. Her role on Orange is the New Black has contributed to 3 consecutive wins for the Screen Actors Guild Award for Outstanding Performance by an Ensemble in a Comedy Series. Guerrero is the author of In the Country We Love, My Family Divided, a memoir about her parents being detained and deported when she was 14. She starred as Kay Shala/Crazy Jane in the Max action drama series Doom Patrol. She also voiced characters such as Jessica Cruz/Green Lantern in Justice League vs. the Fatal Five and Isabella Madrigal in the 2021 Disney film Encanto. Early life and education. Guerrero was born on July 21, 1986 in Passaic, New Jersey. She has an older maternal half-brother, born 1976. Her parents and brother emigrated from Palmyra, Colombia in 1981 and settled in Boston, Massachusetts in 1987. 1. As the only member of her immediate family with American citizenship, Guerrero remained in the U.S. at the age of 14 when her parents and older brother were deported back to Colombia after unsuccessfully pursuing legal citizenship. She emphasized that even though she was a minor, no government agency reached out to see if she was okay after this occurred. She relied solely on her friends' parents to help get her through the rest of high school and beyond. 2-3 Guerrero has since become a strong advocate for immigration reform. 4-5 Guerrero was raised in the Jamaica Plain and Roxbury neighborhoods of Boston after being taken in by other Colombian families. 6 She attended Boston Arts Academy, a performing arts high school, where she was in the music department. Among her high school activities was singing with a jazz group, but she anticipated pursuing political science and communications in college. She then studied political science and communications at Regis College, studying abroad at Regent's University London during her junior year. 7 Her first job after college was in a law office. 8 In 2010, at age 24, Guerrero decided to pursue a career in acting. 9 That same year, she appeared in the music video for Boston-based R&B singer Louis Bellows' song Faces. 10 In 2011, she moved to New York City and studied acting at the Susan Batson Studios, where she met her manager Josh Taylor. Career. In 2012, Guerrero was cast in Orange is the New Black in the role of Maritza Ramos, a Bronx-bred character with Colombian roots. 8-11 For Season 2, she was part of the cast that earned recognition for outstanding performance by an ensemble in a comedy series at the 21st Screen Actors Guild Awards. 12-13 The cast earned recognition for outstanding performance by an ensemble in a comedy series again at the 22nd Screen Actors Guild Awards and 23rd Screen Actors Guild Awards. 14-15 She remained part of the show through Season 5. 16 She returned for the final season in 2019. 17 Guerrero at the 2016 Texas Book Festival. In 2014, Guerrero was cast in a recurring role on the CW series Jane the Virgin. 18-19 In February 2015, Guerrero was cast as the female lead in CBS television pilot for Super Clyde 20, but the show was not picked up for series. 21 In 2017, Guerrero was cast in a regular role for Season 2 of Superior Donuts. 22 Guerrero has appeared in the films Emoticon, Winky Face, Peter and John, and Happy Yummy Chicken. In 2018, she appeared in the films Beyond Control and The Godmother. 23 In 2016, Guerrero released In the Country We Love, My Family Divided, a memoir about her parents being detained and deported when she was 14. The book was written with Michelle Burford and published by Henry Holt & Co. 24-25 A drama based on her memoir was picked up by CBS, to be developed into a drama executive produced by Jenny Snyder-Erman, Ben Silverman, and Paul Sciarrotta, with Snyder attached as the showrunner. Guerrero was initially set to play the lead. 26 In 2017, CBS decided to pass on the project, but was picked up by Fox. As of January 2018, no pilot for the series has been ordered. 27 Needs update. Following the release of In the Country We Love, My Family Divided, Guerrero also released My Family Divided 28, a memoir similar to her previous work but for younger children. 29 One of the main reasons she wanted to cater this book to a younger audience is because she felt like kids who were in similar situations as her own had no knowledge on how to deal with it. In an interview with The Washington Post, she says, "I never read anything close to my story. I had no reference point. I felt really alone." 30. In July 2018, Guerrero joined the cast of the DC Universe series Doom Patrol as Jane. 31 The series debuted in 2019. 32 She is the first actress to play Crazy Jane on screen. 33 Guerrero hosted the first 2 seasons of the Hello Sunshine podcast, How It Is. 34-35 Guerrero provided the voice of Isabella Madrigal in the Disney animated film Encanto, which premiered November 24, 2021. 36 Awards. In 2018, Guerrero was awarded the Lupe Ontiveros Indomitable Spirit Award by the National Hispanic Media Coalition for her commitment to advocacy and increasing the visibility of the Latino community's achievements and contributions in the USA. 37. Advocacy. After publicly speaking about her immigrant parents in an article for the Los Angeles Times, 38, Guerrero became an advocate for the immigrant community. She volunteers and is an ambassador for the Immigration Legal Resource Center, a nonprofit organization that aims to educate people about issues in the immigrant community. 39. She also became a board member for Mi Familia Vota, a national nonprofit organization that seeks to engage communities for social justice. 40. In September 2015, she was named one of the presidential ambassadors for citizenship and naturalization by Barack Obama. 41. On May 24, 2018, she was recognized at the 2018 Philip Burton Immigration and Civil Rights Awards for the work she continues to do. Renzi Feliz is an American actor, who is best known for playing Alex Wilder in the Marvel Cinematic Universe television series Runaways, voicing Camilo Madrigal in Disney's 2021 animated feature film Encanto, and playing Victor Aguilar in the HBO series The Penguin. Life and career. Feliz was born in the Bronx to a single mother. He soon moved and grew up in Florida. After his mother remarried, they moved to Los Angeles and he attended Santa Monica High School, where he majored in drama as he gained an interest in it. He and his team were finalists in the 2016 August Wilson Monologue Competition and the Music Center's Spotlight program, where he gained recognition. 2-3. Feliz performed a monologue from the play Two Trains Running. 4. In 2017, Feliz landed the role of Alex Wilder in Marvel's Runaways. 5. He made a guest appearance on Kevin, Probably, Saves the World as Mark, a young man who has left home in search of adventure. 6. In 2021, Feliz voiced the character of Camilo Madrigal in Disney's animated feature film Encanto. In 2024, Feliz starred as Victor Aguilar, a troubled youth, in the HBO Max series The Penguin, in which he starred opposite Colin Farrell. Encanto is a 2021 American animated musical fantasy comedy film produced by Walt Disney Animation Studios. It was directed by Jared Bush and Byron Howard and written by Charisse Castro-Smith and Bush, with original songs written by Lin-Manuel Miranda and a score composed by Jermaine Franco. The film stars the voices of Stephanie Beatriz, Maria Cecilia Botero, John Leguizamo, Mauro Castillo ES, Jessica Darrow, Angie Cepeda, Carolina Gaitan, Diane Guerrero, and Wilmer Valderrama. Encanto follows a multi-generational Colombian family, the Madrigals, led by a matriarch whose children and grandchildren except for Mirabel Madrigal receive magical gifts from a miracle, which they use to help the people in their rural community, called the Encanto. When Mirabel learns that the family is losing their magic, she sets out to find out why and save the family and house. Encanto premiered at the El Capitan Theater in Hollywood, Los Angeles, on November 3, 2021, and was released in the United States on November 24 over a 30-day theatrical run. It was also released in Real D 3D, Dolby Cinema, 2D, and D-Box formats. Despite underperformance at the box office, grossing $261.3 million worldwide against a $120 to $150 million budget, it was a ratings success after its release on Disney Plus on December 24, 2021. The film received acclaim for its characterization, music, animation, voice acting, emotional depth, and cultural fidelity. Reviews named magic realism and transgenerational trauma as the film's core concepts. Publications have described Encanto as a cultural phenomenon, and executives had begun referring to it as a franchise within a year of release. 6. The film was nominated for 3 awards at the 94th Academy Awards, winning Best Animated Feature, and received numerous other accolades, including the Golden Globe Award for Best Animated Feature and the BAFTA Award for Best Animated Film. The film's associated merchandise has seen significant success, and its soundtrack became a breakout sensation, reaching number 1 on the US Billboard 200 and UK compilation albums charts. We Don't Talk About Bruno and Surface Pressure were its two most successful songs, with the former topping both the US Billboard Hot 100 and UK singles chart for multiple consecutive weeks. A theme park attraction based on the film is set to open at Disney's Animal Kingdom in 2027. 7. Plot. An armed conflict forces young couple Alma and Pedro Madrigal to flee their home village in Colombia with their infant triplets, Julieta, Pipa, and Bruno. Pedro is killed, but the candle Alma carries gains a magical power that repels the attackers and creates Casita, a sentient house located in a magical realm bordered by mountains. 50 years later, a new village thrives under the candle's protection, which grants gifts and corresponding bedrooms to each Madrigal descendant when they turn 5, which they use to serve the villagers. Julieta's youngest daughter, Mirabel, is the only Madrigal to not be granted with a gift, while Bruno was vilified and scapegoated for his precognition, which resulted in him disappearing. 10 years later, Pipa's youngest son, Antonio, is granted the ability to communicate with animals. During the celebration, Mirabel sees Casita cracking and the candle's flame flickering and goes downstairs to investigate. She alerts her family, but Casita repairs itself before the rest of the family can see the cracks. After overhearing Alma lament the candles fading that night, Mirabel resolves to restore Casita's magic herself.